OJ, where you at? Let's go! Come on! Destiny 2's here, finally, let's do this!
I'm ready.
Joe, what the fuck is that?
What do you mean?
What the fuck are you wearing? I told you gear up! Destiny 2, fucking look cool!
This is Destiny 2. You told me we're gonna be farming for exotics.
Yeah, but Joe, come on. There's not a literal fucking farm in the game, alright?
Oh yeah? Then what do you call the hub?
The farm?
Exactly.
Yeah, good point.
So, I'm dressed for the occasion. I don't know about you.
Joe, you gonna see once we get out there, boy.
Bring
Come on,
it.
let's go! Was that it?
No, that was way too easy. And what the hell was that
Who
ending?
the fuck are those? Wait a minute. Son of a bitch! Not again! Not again, Joe! What the fuck? You done fucked it up! Welcome to my review of Destiny 2. It's been a while since my last one, so forgive me if I'm a little rusty. I made sure to play the hell out of this one before this, so before I start getting death threats from the now large and in charge Destiny community for my last review, for not including the most minute details and changes, let me start with leveling with everyone, okay? Cutting right to the chase. Is Destiny 2 better than Destiny 1? Yes. Yes, it is. If you love Destiny 1, you're likely going to have a great time here. In fact, the 3 new subclasses, Dawnblade, Sentinels, and my favorite, the Arcstrider, are so much fun.
0.0001%. This is my favorite part of Destiny. I love this Arcstrider ability. It's so fucking cool. Especially this butterfly kick right here. I just played the game just to do one move. If I could do this in real life, my life would be complete. Just one successful butterfly kick.
Even the reworks of the already known subclasses are appreciated as well. There are a ton of quality of life improvements, like not having to waste time going to orbit in between every damn missions, wasting time on those load screens. There's a real map from the beginning, and improved leveling and progression throughout the game that certainly cuts down on the general intense grinding from the original. There are reworks all over the place that help the game for sure.
Fucking lasers, man. What is this, Resident Evil?
Shit.
It's fucking Resident Evil.
It's the new gameplay element in Destiny. This is the new
No,
thing.
man, it's like the fucking
The new
grid.
thing. This is cool. I like it. I mean, tiny little puzzles.
Yeah.
Joe's weakness, but it's not gonna kill you, Joe.
It is.
No, it's not. Just go. You see everybody else win.
Once again, the music is fantastic. It's so beautiful. Really great tracks.
Oh God! The Falcon! Why would you do this? Stop it!
Hey,
Oh, the music! Oh, the horror of him trying to kill it! Joe, try to kill it.
try.
Try to kill it. Shoot it! I mean, don't!
I don't know its pattern.
Can't you hear the music, Joe?
But the game does that odd thing where the music won't match the encounter from the first one. It'll sometimes play nothing or something ridiculously epic when not much is going on, really. And as I've said before, the core combat and the gunplay of Destiny has always been solid in my opinion. This is where Bungie excels. But you've got to admit that in places it feels pretty bare minimum and recycled. There is just no denying it. What we end up getting by the end is a really solid reboot of the Destiny universe. It hardly does anything to attract back anyone outside of its current base, aside from the expensive marketing campaigns.
Check this out.
It's as if the development of the first was a bit of a mess and this was the house cleaning itself up. But is that really what constitutes an amazing sequel to people nowadays?
Water! You lucked out that they came at you one at a time in single columns.
This is turning into kind of a long walk.
Hey, at least you can walk. I live in a dilapidated boat. Tracker, I do not believe the Vex will want to give up their fancy shields. You're gonna have to make them.
The first game had the benefit of introducing us to a completely new universe with new enemies, its own lore, but many considered its scope far more narrow, grindy, repetitive, and limiting than its original promise. So the sequel was really an opportunity to wow us, to include new segments into the game that may be unexpected. Can you say any of what was put into this game here was that? Space battles, zero-G encounters, increased exploration, slower scenes showing the population and the horrific emotional effects on humanity's last stand hinted at in the trailers.
I was really liking this segment. Check this segment out. Now, it's something so small, right? But when you think about it, this was sorely needed in Destiny. We need to see humanity on its last leg. We need to see these sort of refugees and just war-torn streets and how it's affecting people around you.
No! None of that! Were you expecting something like that? What are you crazy? What are you like fucking insane? Get out of here with that shit.
Hey guys, big game coming up. I got some new moves to show you. Check this out.
The tone is set right from the beginning with a shockingly copy-paste of the original character creator with little added options or attention paid here at all. No matter, you say. It'll be quickly covered up by the loot in the game. Fine. Thankfully, we are injected right into the action this time as the Cabal suddenly have the bright idea after 500 years to, surprise attack the last human city and just capture the Traveler with a claw ship thingy. This shuts down the light and the source of power for all the Guardians, making them, and by extension you, vulnerable and mortal again. Exciting!
Your light is mine. It's mine. Mine. I should have kicked you.
This is mine!
Well, all for one or two missions until a plot MacGuffin almost immediately gives you your light back, making it somewhat pointless feeling.
I have no light. I just want to die. Can't barely
Did you get your light back immediately?
Do you feel it?
lights out, Guardian.
And nobody else gets this since, you know, you sort of keep this shit to yourself? But give credit where credit is due. At least this Destiny does in fact have a present, coherent storyline. And actual central characters told through impressive cutscenes. You basically collect three famous people, Zavala, Ikora, and Cayde, one of the best parts of the game, played by Nathan Fillion.
Puppies! Or...
Not the puppies.
I know, right? Who does that? I mean, I'm more of a cat guy, but still, where was I? Everything is gone, except for the last city. So it's time to bring out the big guns. It's not a metaphor, guys. Go grab some big guns. Because if we're going down fighting. I am so proud of myself right now.
You do 2 or 3 missions more after that, and then you fight the final boss. And that's pretty much it. The slight issue is that it's pretty by the numbers. Even cliche with the classic, "We're not so different, you and I" speech.
We are not so different, your traveler and I.
It's not exactly notable, despite an amazingly sexy voice by our new villain, Gary.
Slayer of gods and conqueror of the light, I am Gary. And I have become legend.
So, if I say... Look, the issue wasn't the original story itself. It was the lack of context and its prominence. The first game had this amazing grimoire to back things up. But the issue was that it wasn't in the damn game. And again, here, there's no attempt to put any sort of encyclopedia of their fantastic lore in, despite every reviewer from here to Timbuktu mentioning this, which seems even more needed now with the seeming knee-jerk reaction reboot and disappearance of some storylines. Like the fascinating, ominous darkness. Where the fuck is the mention of it? No, it's been wiped clean. Instead we get Gary? Well, I want my darkness back, damn it!
Darkness is! You darkness, you black midnight evil motherfucker, black magic darkness.
Look, what I'm meaning to say is put the fucking grimoire in the fucking game, god damn it!
Oh, fuck. The grimoire is in the game. You did it, Bungie. You finally did it. You put the grimoire in the game. But I can't fucking read it.
This is why I
Oh, shit. That sucks.
With so many characters and now expansions to keep track of, I needed some kind of reference material.
What's it gonna try this time around? When I hear about the Dust Palace and those Scion flayers getting into Rasputin's mind, I wonder, what would they talk about? Rasputin.
Rasputin? Who the fuck is Rasputin?
Another huge weakness of the first game was its repetitive mission design, with horde mode cop-outs over and over that made it feel like a shell of a game without much thought or progression through each mission. And it still sorta is that sort of quasi-MMO, though they do separate the horde mode out a little better.
I can get this open. Just hold them off.
And instead of finally explaining and elaborating on what was set up in the first game by the ominous speaker, we all know him, right?
Gary, I said I speak for the traveler, but I never said I tell you.
unceremoniously in disappointing fashion.
Hello? Is anybody there? I'm not really dead yet. I just fell down. Could someone hand me my mask? I can't see. Oh, it's because I'm on the ground. They just leave me here. Hello? Okay. I'll just wait here then. On the floor.
And let's be honest, none of the current races are all that fascinating on their own. They just kind of blend into each other. The Fallen, the Taken, the Vex, the Cabal, they all want to kill you and so lack any depth, as in, say, the elites from Halo or the grunts pressed into service but terrified to fight you, so fuck them. It was all this behind the scenes stuff, that what was behind these generic baddies, that gave the universe its mystique. Instead, now we get in its place loot crates, treasure maps, and token contextual things to distract you here and there with a single line of dialogue.
I guess the speaker's dead. And his mask fell off and he fell on the ground. And then they just kind of forgot about him, didn't talk about it, nobody gave a
Taking
shit.
a nap. He's still alive.
Guy was a fucking jerk anyway.
It's just the worst things of the genre without the real benefits, aside from real clans this side. Thank you very much. But it is limited to 100 members. But still, it just still feels like nothing is really changing in the actual world, except for the very end where you see different skyboxes. With public events, adventures, new quests, patrols, to inject some life into the repetitive formula. Yes, they're there, but all of them quickly fall apart and expose the game's weaknesses even more so. And that is the feeling of recycled enemies and bosses. It permeates throughout the entire game and is undeniable even amongst hardcore fans. The campaign is shockingly easy. And it would take you about 6-7 hours depending on certain factors. It would be even quicker if they didn't force you to do a bit of grinding to level up before some missions. And perhaps, most puzzlingly, leave you stranded without a Sparrow for most of the friggin' game for no fucking reason. Which is really damn apparent when you're walking these huge empty distances, which are clearly designed to be fucking driven through with Sparrows. It's shameless padding of the game time. You can't deny that.
That guy right there.
Oh, sorry. Can't over my spare. Oh, God, sorry.
What the fuck? Why do you have a Sparrow while I'm fucking walking these huge goddamn distances where very clearly I should have a Sparrow? Okay, you know what? You are gonna drive me. You're my friend, and my friends can't have a Sparrow unless I have one. Let's go.
All right.
I said let's go.
All right.
I'm buckled in. God damn it.
You're
Come
too
back
fast.
in, son of a
Let's try
bitch.
it slow.
But what gets me the most is the seemingly untouched enemy AI that still makes stupid mistakes and act like morons until engaged with.
I guess they're already there. Killing me while I'm still dead.
You know, the fucking enemies shoot you when you're dead on the ground.
Oh yeah.
The AI has
They're
not been
shooting down.
That was a problem in Destiny 1 where the enemies just shoot the dead you
Like,
and they ignore the
They
objective.
ignored you. And they're just shooting Dell while he was dead.
And
And
they
you're just
haven't
picking him
fixed
off.
How a 12-year-old game like Fear can still sport better AI that use recognizable tactics infuriates me. Hell, you don't even need to go back that far. Bungie's own Halo franchise, for Christ's sake, had overall better enemy AI than this. Did that guy get fired at Bungie or something? I don't understand.
You're telling me there was no time to address the AI, like, at all? Okay.
But what many will say is that the game design, Joe, isn't about any of that. It's not about smart, multi-layered enemies. It's not about the story. It's not about its world building. It's not about, it's only about loot. The progression of your character and amassing more loot. That's great. I am a huge loot whore, okay? The level of cap, again, is 20. With power replacing light as your most important stat. It's been improved to work better behind the scenes, but still, it ends up feeling have that disconnection that you have to your character. You don't grow attached to anything you find, as you'll quickly be destroying it later. In fact, the problem is you don't really matter at all until you hit level 20. You feel paralyzed and unwilling to spend resources or use any one-time shaders in anything until you reach max level and damn near max power, which is so many hours of empty grinding well into endgame.
And then I'm scared to use any fucking shaders I get because they're all one-time use shaders, and that's some fucking bullshit. So I've been just stockpiling shaders, and I don't want to use them on anything. That's the problem with Destiny is you don't want to use anything because it's one-time use, and you're going to trash all this shit anyway. You know what I mean?
Oh, and that's right. I said one-time use shaders. They up and gone and done it. And made customization paid now. There are now microtransactions in the form of new bright engrams. No explanation, because fuck you, give me more money now.
They can't even make them look cool or interesting. Like in Warframe, a free-to-play game has cooler looking paid things than a paid game. How is that possible? Don't you agree the Warframes look fucking badass? And the Destiny's armors are like...
Just curious, how many people actually bought that?
A ton of fucking people, Joe.
$50 one?
Oh, fuck you,
Thanks
Tess.
for shopping Eververse, Guardian.
No, fuck you.
Now, to be fair, you can earn some bright engrams through normal gameplay. Say each time you level up past 20, like level 22, 23, 24, etc. But instead of actually doing that, you earn one bright engram, which is appreciated. But the whole thing still feels nasty, considering this is a paid game that's asking for even more from you later from expansion DLC. Now we're expected to pay to look cool too? That was the whole point of Destiny.
These are pretty cool. I'm gonna say that right up front. The only good thing in the game that where's the faithful symbol?
Yeah, they sent a link right there.
Where? The one thing that I like, how is this a Nazi symbol? Do they know what Nazi symbols look like?
Guardian,
I don't understand.
What puzzles do you bear?
I just fucking used my fucking shader on it, man.
Oh, that sucks for you. There goes
you, damn, God damn it.
There goes your shader. And there goes those.
It's fucking stupid. God damn it.
Those are gone now.
Can't have nice things. The one thing that I'm like, oh man, this actually looks all right. Nope. Can't have it.
And I can't help, because of that, to feel like the colors in the game are muted and not that exciting to encourage players to go out and buy all the premium shaders or the shaders they want. Now, some cry out that this is now pay to win. It's not. No, it's not. Not really. It's mostly customization, though there are some mod stats to gear, so the most you could argue with is quasi pay to win, but it is nowhere near a huge balance issue. But still, it sucks either way.
That's the problem. Is everything is fucking washed out so that you'll come over here and then actually get something that looks.
Not that
Even
one.
that shit looks awful. Vomit? Just watermelon?
Give me the cash.
Crafting has been overly simplified, so you'll not find much outside of mods to spend your glimmer on, as the vendors, their inventory is again useless. You never buy it. So you'll quickly amass 99k glimmer so often, you just buy mods, rinse, and repeat. That's what it is. And as for the series' famous exotics hunt, they've reworked those too. And so far, everyone I've talked to has just been frustrated with it. Now, you can't modify the exotic parts anymore. What you see is what you get. They did that in hopes for better balance. But you will get what seems like an overabundance of duplicates that will really test your patience.
Ready, let's do this! Fuck! Raiden Flux. Already have it.
The one exotic you've got, you got a duplicate of from the tutorial.
That sucks.
That wasn't in the list.
You can get anything.
Let's get started.
I know, but why when I
Because
viewed...
that's what you can.
I know, but why when I went to details does it show us 7 things?
I have no idea.
We live in dangerous times, Guardian.
The fact that everyone's one of everyone's major complaints was that getting exotics was really hard and that you could get duplicates in the first one after not getting them for a long time. It is so bad of a problem in this one that exotic engrams are no longer exciting or even like a thing for me. Like, oh, I'm just gonna get another duplicate. Oh, duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. It's like every single engram I've had in the past few days has been duplicates.
Yeah, I'd rather them to be insanely hard and then get something rather than them being easier to get and having the frustration of the duplicates.
Yeah.
As for the technical stuff, the graphics, they're serviceable. There are admittedly really great skyboxes going on, but there's also some puzzlingly ugly fire effects and laughable textures.
What is that, Joe?
That's
just
fog,
about the
letting
worst
you know you
fucking
can't go
texture
in
I've
there.
ever seen. Joe, what is with this texture?
Go in there.
Like, this is an unfinished part of the game, it looks like to me.
That's
I mean,
later.
that's about as low effort as you're gonna get on a texture. Wow. Okay. Well, cool.
And immersion-breaking walls and blemishes here and there.
He's possessed.
My field of view seems pretty fucking narrow.
It's 60.
Is that what's like fucking with my brain?
Yeah.
I feel like it's fucking with my brain.
You can't change it either.
I never thought I'd care about field of view. Like, I was one of those guys like, shut up. Why stop complaining about field of view? Now, after years, I'm so used to it and being able to adjust it, you notice. So one of these days, you're gonna be complaining about field of view.
Oh yeah, son.
The PC version is the true winner here, with superior looks, frame rate, and feel with the keyboard and mouse, but it has been suspiciously held for months after the console's release, almost as if to say, buy it a second time on PC. And I was actually considering it, but after having played it on consoles now, I'll pass. I did find the strikes much more fun this time. There are exactly pretty much the same number of strikes as this one as there was in the original. But I liked the bosses here a bit better, even if you can exploit most of them with a stun lock from, one of the most popular classes, the Arc Strider.
And here's the weakness of every boss in the entire game, by the way.
Yeah, the Arc Strider stun on it.
You just whoop, 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 whoop.
No, don't kill him! Del, don't!
But there's no actual new warriors or classes, and some Destiny fans have actually taken to defending this by saying that no new characters or classes make sense because of the lore restrictions, as if that's a thing. And if it actually is, well, this game's future is in serious trouble if that's the case. Okay? Night strikes serve as harder, sometimes timed version of strikes, while guided games can help introduce and mentor new Destiny players through. But assuming you do have hardcore friends willing to grind for hours on end through repetitive actions, then you can treat yourself to the holy grail of raids. Or rather, raid. The first game we get just one, and this one we get one. The Destiny community will chastise you if you don't play in full and dare to give your opinion on the game as if all of the game's main functions are somehow listed in this section alone. They aren't. I've played it. And let's just say that while it starts out amazing, like the visual design, you can clearly tell that lots of effort was put in that section. It's out of this world. But unfortunately, it quickly reveals itself as a tedious chore.
Motherfucker! Stupid. I kind of want to just get the fucking loot and get out of here.
Just raid has caused me physical discomfort.
Like, I'm legit not even having fun. Like, this is fucking dumb.
With every process needed to be done 3 to 4 times over through 3 or 4 trials with multiple sections and frustrating mechanics that just aren't fun at all. The gameplay and the mechanics of the raid are garbage. Absolute garbage. They're terrible. I am not finishing it. It is just not worth it to me.
So when you beat a boss, you don't get loot. You get a key.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through all the tunnels of the underbelly of the Leviathan to find a loot chest to actually get loot.
Hey, oh my god.
Yay,
really?
a legendary fucking engram!
I am so done with this raid.
Are you
They're gonna
serious?
nerf this or everyone's gonna quit their game.
Are you serious?
Like, I'd say we got 2 upgrades.
Oh yay, I got the red mamba. That was totally worth all the fucking frustration I just went through. And we just did all of that. We spent like, what, 7 hours in that fucking raid for nothing? Nothing to show for it. Fucking nothing.
Are you ready to do the rest of it tomorrow?
Oh my god.
Even in the old raids though, you did the first boss and you got something. You did the second boss, you got something, and you did the final boss and you got...
Just the first part. And there's 4 trials. And they're all ass.
In fact, we could have actually done more public events and gotten more exotic engrams in that time.
Oh yeah, you can get
than doing
way
the
better
raid.
gear. You can get way better fucking gear and just spamming heroic public events.
You'll only get the cool shit at the very, very end, but it will take you beyond forever and likely piss you off before then. 8 hours of pure torture. You won't want to go back and raid again after you get it done. And even if you get it done. Unlike other games where where you're actually excited to raid multiple times, it's probably not going to be the case for the large majority of people. At least with this raid.
It's so fucking annoying.
Dead on the inside.
Yeah. I can hear it.
Like I'm not even
I
having
missed the
fun
Vault of
anymore.
Glass. I missed the first Destiny raid. Can we just have that?
Would have done now, like...
Dude, the
And
Taken
look at
King
it.
raid was a lot more fun than
Come
this.
over here. Everybody come over here.
This is hardly a massively different improved endgame from what some were advertising. And finally, there's the multiplayer PvP, which will give you tons of hours for your money. It's, again, rather addictive to go in with all your best gear and weapons, get wrecked, unlock better weapons, go in and do some wrecking yourself, rinse and repeat. Skill, of course, matters a lot, the most, but there's a definite advantage to better weapons and gear. I peg it at around 70 skill, 30% gear, which is great in my opinion.
This gun is crisp. I don't even know what that means, but I'm saying it. That's a good part of Destiny, you know. That's not. That worked out.
However, unlike the original game that had 6v6, 3v3, 2v2 even, all game modes are now 4v4. But so far, I've not felt like I've missed some of the older modes. Overall, I think the changes to multiplayer are very positive. Some people seem to work together as a team far more. It's less chaotic. I really enjoyed my time here, more so than vanilla.
Woo! Yeah, boy! Yeah, boy! Boy!
Tweaks are made here and there. We can see if enemies have their supers and heavy ammo, which is great help for your team's tactics. 3 modes return: Supremacy, Control, and Clash. 2 new modes make their debut: Countdown, which I personally don't like, where you plant or defuse one of 2 bombs, and another one called Survival, where I really did enjoy a lot, in a best out of 10 rounds where you have limited lives. It was my new favorite mode. Trials of the Nine, instead of being elimination matches, they're now either those 2 new modes, Countdown or Survival, so 50% of the time I'll like it. I did run into a high amount of map and mode repetition in the Crucible, more so than normal, but I think it was just a freak accident. Though I'm sure they're probably holding back a few things for post-release, so they have this plan over weeks and months, because I already started to feel like I blew through most of the content and maps were repeating a bit too much for my taste over, 2 days.
Dude, I got some really fucked up RNG last time. I played Survival like 9 times in a row. Oh my god. It's so weird that like nobody has told me to shut the fuck up. I've been playing this game like 20, 30 hours, 40 hours. I haven't heard a single person talk. Not a single fucking person. Oops. Oh shit, I'm about to die.
So, that about sums it up. Destiny, like it or not, is a juggernaut. A high-profile game made by a high-profile developer, backed by a high-profile and deep-pocketed publisher. However, its sequel somehow feels like the money and budget maybe didn't get put in all the right places. But with records set, over 1.2 million concurrent players of all types, it's going to have that very loud vocal faithful. And if you like the game and love the game, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to attack me for pointing out what I dislike about it. I often ask people who believe that this game deserves a 9 or even higher, what section of the game really stood out and impressed them. And I'm going to present you that question. And the answer I got before the raid, it was almost always the tank section. Really? The tank section?
Dude, they've done it before, but better. Like, that's the problem with this game, is everything that you do, they've done better before. And it's hard to look around, too, because you're like, it's Bungie, man. You look at their other vehicle, like, remember the tank bridge fight in Halo 2? Where you're rolling up that bridge with fucking Marines on your tank and you're shooting and it's playing the
yeah, it just works so great with the music. It's just that all of these missions have been done better, and they're not even attempting to do as good as that because they don't want to be like, oh, this is too much like our other game.
I mean, the Gary fight's kind of neat if you don't spam supers. Like, if you just shoot him normally, it lasts a while.
And there is one other side thing I want to mention here, and it has nothing to do with the review. And this doesn't apply to the community managers, but I do want to say it because this does feel like a different Activision and even Bungie that I've known in the past. Ever since my last review, I have been surprised with how sensitive the company has become behind the scenes, even compared to their peers, other companies. Any sort of criticism or parody, be it from critics or even its known supporters, from my experiences firsthand and stories of others' experience with them, it is extremely easy and sometimes laughable what will land you on their shit list. It's a type of behavior that worries me, which is only why I mention it. From what I hear, it's something about some higher-ups misconstruing that I meant physical harm to Bungie employees because I punched out Corporate Commander in my last review. So, just so we're clear, I don't mean nor encourage physical harm to you. And Corporate Commander isn't Bungie.
Oh, you thought that I was... Get over yourself! You're just one insignificant cog in my grand scheme! Oh, stop!
I guess that's the benefit of having entire massive YouTube channels devoted to specific games or their products. Just remember to at least consider the source when looking for objective, independent assessments who don't fear their access being taken away.
You can't kick things like you can kick the soccer ball.
not
You can't
Fable.
kick a fucking chicken. Are you fucking serious? You can kick fucking chickens in Zelda. You can kick chickens in Fable, for Christ's sake. You can't kick chickens in Destiny? Like, what did they think people would want to do?
So, anywho, to me, overall, to sum it all up, this feels like a $40 expansion repackaged as a sequel. Destiny 1.5, the Cabal focused expansion. It would have served amazingly as that for sure, but as a full-blown sequel, it falls short. As for the final verdict, you may assume that with the admission that this is an improved Destiny at the beginning, since the original achieved a 6 out of 10, that this one would naturally maybe grab a 7 out of 10. And maybe so, but when you factor in all the recycled elements, the seemingly untouched AI, the added microtransactions, single-use cheaters, the ending in which they reveal a new threat that really should have been in this game, but is instead frustratingly held for the expansion and copious amounts of DLC, it is in my opinion that this rating drops back down to a 6 out of 10. You've remade Destiny. Congratulations! Most of us hoped for a bit more of its original promise. If it weren't for some really well-made, non-interactive cinematics and an entertaining performance from Nathan Fillion, who is one of the best things about the game, it could have easily fallen even further to an average game, 5 out of 10. It's the most big budgeted game since I've played since, Destiny. With Anthem right around the corner, and for Christ's sake, Battlefield, and even Call of Duty seemingly injecting more innovation into their sequels than Bungie had here, things are looking slightly more worrisome for the future of the franchise and its 10-year plan. Will the community once again put up with such a small incremental upgrade for Destiny 3? I don't think so. I think they're gonna have to do much more. But that's just my opinion. And my fears are already envisioning the future. Introduce a new race in the expansion, then recycle them as the main baddies in Destiny 3, rinse and repeat. Will it come to pass? Only time will tell. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Good to be back. You know, this isn't even split screen co-op, so you're not really playing.
I get that all the time.
You gotta go home, Joe, by your own.
I don't know if I want to. I like pretending.
You just used mine, you son of a bitch. What the fuck are you wearing, Joe? I said Destiny 2! Get ready for it! Cool armor, loot, and shit. Look, I even got fucking Superman emblems. Let's fucking do this, Joe. Armor up, and there goes my fucking knife. I'm gonna need that. I'm a goddamn hunter. Say it! I'm just eating, Joe.
Finish it off.
I love Fruity Pebbles, man.
I'm still here. Is anybody picking me up? I'd like to go home, but I won't.
Round one, fight! Shoryuken!